Hi, I wanted to review another perfume, and this is a wonderful perfume from vintage period. So it is Nina Ricci Air de Temps, which is a perfume with uh, different notes of florals, and it's considered a floral fragrance, and it is a lady's scent from 1948, and it's still manufactured these days. So it's one of the very first perfumes that was more or less produced after the World War II, and thus the bottle design itself is created as two doves of peace, as a stylized way of saying that peaceful times have come after the two world wars that perished Europe in the first half of 20th century. So the bottle itself is very elegant, it's very beautiful. There are slight variations of glossy versus matte bottles, taking into account different sizes of the perfume and also limited editions versus the original flankers. And this particular scent is a scent that has remained more or less the same throughout the time, and despite it being still manufactured, it is still quite popular for a scent that has been around for a very long time. And it is a scent with warm accords of warm, spicy, floral, woody, powdery, white floral, aromatic, iris, aldehydic, earthy, and fresh. So this particular scent is a perfect summertime scent, a very feminine scent for this particular perfume. I think that there are a few actually movie references referring to this particular fragrance. For example, I believe in Silence of the Lambs, there was a reference by in regards to Clarice, the character, a lady, that she was supposedly wearing this particular fragrance, and it is more or less an epitome of feminine fancy fragrances, ladylike fragrances. So it's just a fragrance that has gotten in a more or less psychological horror movie. But it's not the only reference, and when talking about this particular scent, it's still quite popular, and it is a beautiful, still wearable these days vintage fragrance. I believe it would suit the most perfectly for a blonde or light-haired lady with more or less feminine, classical appearance, and it is more on the summertime spring fragrance versus wintertime scent, as it has many florals, aldehydic notes, and thus for wintertime I would probably choose something else unless you really like the scent and it's your signature scent. And price-wise, you can get good deals on this fragrance, and the quality itself is pretty good for a more or less designer range scent. So it's not the worst choice, and definitely a wonderful classical choice if you don't like super avant-garde niche scents or woody scents, but instead you do prefer vintage fragrances, and this is something that is still very affordable, very easy to purchase also online and in even some perfume stores. And you can definitely try it and check out whether you like it or not. But the top notes are carnation, adelhydes, rose, neroli, Brazilian rosewood, peach, and bergamot. Middle notes of carnation yet again, cloves, gardenia, jasmine, rose, ylang ylang, violet, orris root, rosemary, and orchid. And base notes of spices, iris, oak, musk, sandalwood, benzoin, amber, vetiver, and cedar. So French and more or less vintage inspiration. Also from the very beginning of the 20th century. And the scent profile itself is very reminiscent of 90 up to 1920s, style profile wise up till 1980s. So carnation was used quite widely in many fragrances, along with classical floral combination of French perfumery, which is rose, ylang ylang, violet, and jasmine. And of course the rosewood, orris root, and also sandalwood gives a nice warm woody scent to the particular fragrance, along with amber and some benzoin and spices. So more or less oriental styled base of the scent of course gives also some spiciness of the scent. Itself, the fragrance is very nice, very wearable, long-lasting. I believe that they do also sell the EDT formulation, but I have tried only EDP, so e-perfume combination. And itself, the bottle is very elegant, very pretty. You can definitely place it on your vanity. The beautiful cork of the bottle with the two doves is very, very pretty. And of course, even for bigger bottles, from what I've seen, they also have more or less similar or variation of this original design. So it's a wonderful vintage fragrance that is still manufactured, still pretty affordable. They do have some variations, for example, Air de Temps, Air du Paradis, also Atelier en Brun. So many different variations of the scent and also of the bottle that you can try also and pick which one do you actually prefer, and some darker version bottles such as the Temps Nuit Purple and Crepuscule and many others that I haven't personally tried, but apparently they do exist, and I'm sure that you can find an online retailer where you can acquire these if you like some interesting variations of this original scent. But overall, it's a nice, likable scent, more on the feminine, light-haired, pastel, creamy colored outfit style. That would pair nicely with a kind of more feminine lady, maybe more on the mature side, so over 35, up till probably 60, depends on your taste. And of course, it's definitely a lady scent, it's not a masculine scent. And it's not a unisex fragrance. And it is a true to the core vintage that is still modern enough and classical enough to be worn these days, but you do get a vintage feel with it. So that's all for today. Bye.